Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I hope you spoiled your moms really well yesterday. I know I felt very spoiled and loved yesterday, and the Mother's Day, especially now that I'm a mom. This book is called Rosie, Revere, Engineer. The plastic cover is off, that's why it doesn't have the words on it. But the title page says Rosie, Revere, Engineer by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. It's a great one. There we go. There's the lighting. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lilla Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. Can you tell which one's Rosie? Right there. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. She was quite busy, look at that. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. That beautiful python. And a fantastic hat. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud. But Fred slapped his knee and chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. "I love it," Fred hooted, "oh truly I do." But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day she kept her dreams to herself. Poor Rosie. He laughed at what she made. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. "The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll check that one up to an old lady's dreams." They called her Rosie too when she was younger. Rosie Revere. Just like the great niece. That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. You think it'll fly? Let's see. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheese copter shuddered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. It's pretty cool it moved around though. I don't know if I could have done that. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears. All to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer. She didn't like that people laugh at her, huh? She turned round to leave, but then Great-Great-Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's perfect first try. It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt. It crashed, that is true. But first, it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it has all become clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. So look at these new plans she made. She did not give up, did she? She kept working hard. Oh, that's cool. See these words? It says, in 1784, Elizabeth Thibble became the first woman to fly in a hot air balloon. It's a hot air balloon. The hot air balloon was called La Gustave. Blue Yacht monoplane, similar to the one flown by Harriet Quimby, the first woman to gain a pilot's license in the United States in 1911. Wow, that was a long time ago. That was over 100 years ago. E. Lillian Todd was the first woman to design airplanes in 1906. Curtis J.N., known as a Jenny, flown by Bessie Coleman in 1922. A plane named Friendship, flown by Amelia Earhart to traverse the Atlantic Ocean in 1928. The Lockheed Vega 5B, used by Amelia Earhart to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean in 1932. And Lynn Ripplemeyer was the first woman to pilot a Boeing 747 in 1980. Wow. It's interesting. I've mostly just heard about Amelia Earhart. It's cool to hear about all the other women who were pilots early on. Now we have many female pilots. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rosie tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. It says, "We can do it." I hope they show Rosie Revere, Great Aunt Rosie, Rosie Revere. We can do it. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. And with each perfect failure, they all stood in cheer, but none quite as proud as Rosie Revere. Is she proud of all her friends? For all their creations? It's a very different Rosie than the beginning when she was shy and she didn't even want to talk during class. And now she's happy and cheering for all her friends. Oh. There's Rosie waving bye-bye. She engineered a way for her great Aunt Rosie to fly. Rosie Revere, engineer. I'll have to get, there's some more by B.D. Roberts. It's a great book. Maybe you guys can invent something. Take this special time we have to come up with something that only you could do. And you can be your engineer. Have a great day. Love you guys.